Today we're going to tackle a huge question with the help of philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. He looked at the world, saw a whole lot of struggle, and set out to solve what he called the enigma of a miserable world. He wanted to know why. Why is life so often a battle?
In this quote right here, it gets to the heart of it all. You look around and things seem orderly, sure, but there's also just so much misery and vanity. It feels like a puzzle with no solution. Well, Schopenhauer thought he'd found one.
And here's his absolutely radical starting point. To get why there's so much suffering, you first have to realize that the world you see, the world you experience every day, it's not the final truth. It's more like a performance, a carefully constructed stage play. And to solve the riddle of life, first we got to understand the stage.
All right, so let's pull back the curtain and take a hard look at this grand illusion we call reality.
This is the key, the absolute cornerstone of his entire system. The world is my representation. Now, hold on. This doesn't mean the world is just some dream in your head. No, it's way more subtle. It means it's a mental construction. Your mind isn't just a passive camera recording reality. It's an active builder. It builds the world you experience.
So how does it build it? Well, Schopenhauer says we're all born with this kind of pre-installed operating system for our consciousness. It has three built-in filters. There's space, which lets us see a tree over there and a rock over here. There's time, which lets us experience one thing happening after another. And then there's causality, the glue that connects events as cause and effect. And here's the kicker. You can never, ever take these glasses off.
And the combined effect of all these filters, he gives it a fancy name, the principium individuationist, basically the principle of individuality. Its main job? To create this incredibly powerful illusion that you, me, this chair, that star, that we're all separate individual things. It's the mechanism in our minds that takes reality and just shatters it into a million different pieces.
So that feeling you have of being a unique, distinct person, that's a direct product of your mind's built-in software. It's an incredibly convincing illusion, for sure, but an illusion all the same. And this, of course, leads to the really big question. If this whole world of separate things is just an illusion, what in the world is it hiding?
Okay, time to go behind the curtain of this cosmic stage play.
To give this grand illusion a name, Schopenhauer borrowed this beautiful metaphor from ancient Indian philosophy. He called it the veil of Maya. Just picture it, a gorgeous, intricate, but ultimately deceptive veil that covers the true nature of reality. It shows us a world that seems orderly, predictable, and sensible, but it is not the final truth.
But this brings up a huge problem, right? If the very tools we use to understand the world, our senses, our intellect, are the same tools that create the illusion in the first place, how could we ever possibly hope to see what's behind it? It's like trying to storm a fortress from the outside, but the walls are infinitely high. It seems impossible.
But Schopenhauer found a secret way in. He realized you can't attack the fortress from the outside. You have to find a way in from the inside. He found a subterranean passage, a secret entrance into the heart of reality, and he found it by turning inward to the one thing in the entire universe we experience in two different ways at the exact same time, our own body. Think about it. From the outside, your body is just another object in the world, a part of the representation. But from the inside, you experience it directly. You feel it as desire, as hunger, as emotion, as action. This inner feeling, Schopenhauer argued, is our direct, unfiltered access to the hidden reality behind the veil. And he gave that reality a name, the will.
So what is this will? Well, let's be clear, it is not a god. Not at all. It's a single, unified force that exists totally outside of space and time. It's blind and completely irrational, just a purposeless, aimless striving for nothing in particular. And it is ceaselessly, insatiably hungry. It's a restless impulse that can never ever be satisfied. This is the monstrous chaotic engine running underneath the orderly stage of the world.
And now we get to the truly horrifying consequence of this whole setup. This is where Schopenhauer's famous pessimism comes from, and it's what he believed is the true ultimate source of all the suffering in the world.
To really hammer this point home, Schopenhauer tells this incredibly grim story he read from an explorer in Java. This explorer stumbled upon this vast open field, and it was just littered with the skeletons of giant turtles.
He describes these huge turtles dragging themselves ashore to lay their eggs, but before they can, wild dogs swarm them, flip them onto their backs, and just eat them alive.
Then a tiger pounces on the dogs and devours them, and this horrifying scene of carnage just repeats itself over and over, year after year.
So why? Why does this torment exist? Schopenhauer's explanation is just chillingly direct. He says, this isn't just nature being red in tooth and claw. This is a fundamental law of reality. This is the will to live, making itself visible in the world.
See, because the will is a single all-encompassing hungry entity, there's nothing outside of it for it to consume, so it is forced to feed on itself. The turtle, the dogs, the tiger, at their very core, they are all just different masks worn by the exact same single will. But they're tricked by the veil of Maya. They see each other as separate. The destroyer is tragically, completely unaware that it is metaphysically one and the same as the thing it destroys. So let's just lay it all out. This is the two-world system we've just uncovered. On one side, you have the world as representation. That's the veil. It's the orderly, predictable illusion of separate things, all structured by our minds. And on the other side, you have the world as will. That's the reality. It's the single, unified, irrational force of striving that is the ultimate source of all our struggle and suffering. But here's the thing. For Schopenhauer, understanding this absolutely terrible diagnosis isn't a reason for despair. In fact, it's the essential first step toward any kind of genuine wisdom or liberation. The diagnosis is grim, yeah, but he believes there is a path out. And this leads him to what he sees as the foundation for all true morality: compassion. But for Schopenhauer, compassion isn't just some warm, fuzzy feeling. No, it's a cognitive breakthrough. It's that aha moment when you pierce the veil of Maya and you truly recognize that the suffering will in another person or any being is identical to the one inside of you. You know, think about the rage you feel when a driver cuts you off. The illusion of individuality makes you see an other, an enemy. The compassionate insight is recognizing that the same blind, frantic striving that makes you rush is the exact same force making them rush. You're basically looking in a mirror. To hurt another is, in a very real, metaphysical sense, to hurt yourself. And this profound insight is just the beginning of the path to what he calls salvation. It leads, ultimately, to asceticism. But not necessarily like a monk in a cave. It's more about a conscious, deliberate refusal to keep playing the will's frantic, suffering-filled game. It's about seeing that endless cycle of wanting something, getting it, feeling satisfied for a second, and then immediately wanting something new, seeing that for what it is, a trap. The goal isn't to punish yourself. The goal is liberation. It's about quieting those endless desires inside you to achieve the only true freedom there is, peace from the relentless churning of the will. And that brings us to our final, pretty provocative thought. Schopenhauer has laid out this vision of the world as an orderly stage play that's masking a chaotic, unified reality. He's argued that our deep-seated sense of being a separate me is the very illusion that fuels a world of conflict and suffering. So if our entire world of individual struggle is the illusion, what does true reality, a reality beyond the self, actually feel like?